is with? Huh? Yes, but the logo is not up on the screen as yet. Members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am Maria Superville-Neilson, Program Director of the Anthony N. Sapgo Awards, Caribbean Excellence, and we are here this morning to announce the 2023 laureates in Arts and Letters, Public and Civic Contributions, and Science and Technology. But first, let me tell you who we have with us. We have Professor Compton Bourne, Chair of the Regional Eminent Persons Selection Panel, Professor Bridget Barrington, and Mr. Justice Rolston Nelson, the two Trinidad and Tobago resident members of the panel. I also would like to acknowledge the presence of the Chairman of the Ansa McCall Foundation, Mr. Andrew Sapga. Other directors present are Mr. Garth Chatur and Mr. A. Nigel Sapga. We also have Ansa McCall executives with us. I see Ms. Teresa White and Mr. Ray Sirjusingh, and Ms. Sharon Balroop representing our corporate communications, and Mr. Hadid, Mr. Nabil Hadid, who's also an Ansa McCall Foundation director. Sorry, Mr. Hadid. And I acknowledge those of you joining us online, including other members of the Regional Eminent Persons Panel, Mr. Justice Christopher Blackman, Mr. Christopher Bovell, Dr. Charmaine Gardner, the Most Honorable Professor Sir Kenneth Hall, Professor E. Nigel Harris, Ambassador Erwin LaRocque, Mrs. Diana Mahabir Wyatt, and Major General Retired Joseph Singh. Our country nominating committees, together with the rest of the region, I welcome you all. The Anthony N. Sapga Awards Caribbean Excellence Program began in 2005 and recognizes individuals between the ages of 35 years and 55 years who have a track record of consistently superior work and whose efforts have demonstrated excellence, leadership, and a pioneering ability. These are not lifetime achievement awards. I now hand you over to Professor Compton Bourne, who will announce the winners.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
It is my pleasure to announce the winners of the Anthony N. Sapga Awards Caribbean Excellence for 2023. Before doing that, you heard from Mrs. Maria Superville-Neilson about the criteria, the categories. Let me just restate that we've had the Regional Eminent Persons Selection Panel had before it 12 nominees in the 4 categories, that is arts and letters, entrepreneurship, public and civic contributions, and science and technology. Unfortunately, there was only one nominee in the entrepreneurship category this year, though in the past that we have had several nominees, and there have been several awardees in this category. We, in the Regional Eminent Persons Selection Panel, have decided that we will invite comments from the various country nominating committees about this particular category and the criteria, and that we will review the criteria and see what further guidance we can provide to the committees. The nominees, of the nominees, 3 were in arts and letters, 5 in public and civic contributions, so you can see that is a very popular category, and science and technology, 3. But let me emphasize that it varies from year to year. Sometimes you get more in some categories than others. But what does not vary is the quality of the candidates that we have to consider, and this is normally a pretty demanding exercise. This year, the persons recommended by the Regional Eminent Persons Selection Committee and agreed upon by the Foundation are as follows. In arts and letters, the laureate selected for this year is Ms. Joanne C. Hillhouse. She is an Antiguan and Barbudan national who is a literary person in poetry, novels, and has been very instrumental in seeking to develop those fields in Antigua and Barbuda and in the OECS. In public and civic contributions, the person selected this year is Dr. Adesh Sirjusingh from Trinidad and Tobago. Dr. Sirjusingh is a specialist, is a medical doctor. He's a specialist in the health of women and children, and has made a tremendous contribution in several aspects of that general field in Trinidad and Tobago. The third awardee in science and technology is Dr. Mahendra Persaud from Guyana. Dr. Persaud specializes in rice breeding and the development of rice, not only in Guyana, but he has also been providing technical assistance to other countries, in particular to Trinidad and Tobago in the development of its aromatic rice cultivation. Just of interest to members of the media, he is also the person currently engaged in exploring the possibility of producing wheat in Guyana, taking account of what is happening globally in Eastern Europe. So those are our 3 nominees that I'm pleased to announce, or 3 awardees that I'm pleased to announce. To repeat, Mrs. Joanne C. Hillhouse in Arts and Letters, Dr. Adesh Sirjusingh in Public and Civic Contributions, and Dr. Mahendra Persaud in Science and Technology. Yes.
Thank you, Professor Bourne. So I will now give you a little more detail on each of the laureates. Joanne C. Hillhouse is one of Antigua and Barbuda's foremost contemporary writers, perhaps the best-known Antigua writer after internationally acclaimed writer Jamaica Kincaid. Though based in the region, her work has not gone unnoticed nor uncelebrated, whether at regional or international levels. She was the first runner-up for the coveted Burt Prize for Young Adult Fiction, administered by Bocas Literary Festival in Trinidad. She was also awarded an international fellowship to the prestigious Bread Loaf Writers Conference in Vermont, USA. Ms. Hillhouse has so far published 7 books, 2 novellas, The Boy from Willow Bend, Dancing Nude in the Moonlight, an adult contemporary novel, Oh God, a teen young adult novel, musical Youth, and 3 children's picture books, Lost, a Caribbean sea adventure, With Grace, and The Jungle Outside. Both Lost and The Jungle Outside were illustrated by Trinidad and Tobago artist Daniel Boudou Fortuné. Cherise Harris of Barbuda illustrated With Grace, and a 4th picture book set for release in July 2023, To Be a Cheetah, was done in partnership with Antiguan and Barbudan artist Xavier Archibald. What, however, has been really remarkable about Miss Hillhouse has been how, even while working on her own career and development, she has been deeply concerned with and working in service of the literary arts in her country. She has worked simultaneously and equally for the progress of her own writing as she has for the progress of the writing of young Antiguans and Barbudans. Her efforts to promote, nurture, and facilitate the literary arts in Antigua and Barbuda include the Wadali Youth Pen Prize, initially launched in 2004 as an annual writing prize, and which as of 2021 has become a full non-profit named Wadali Pen Inc. Her efforts to maintain the literary culture that allows individual white writers to thrive often takes other forms, such as her blogging at both jahadli.wordpress.com and wadalipen.wordpress.com, newspaper and art culture column Creative Space, and her long-time participation in the Cushion Club Reading Club for children. Through the Wadali Pen blog, Ms. Hillhouse provides resources for writers, records development in Caribbean arts, and documents Antigua and Barbuda's contemporary and historical literary culture. In addition to Wadali Pen, which has insensitized writing from young and up-and-coming writing talents from Antigua and Barbuda, and provide workshops, showcase opportunities, and mentorship. She has, since 2013, mentored writers younger and older through her Johadli Summer Youth Writing Project. Her writing has been anthologized in Pepperpot, Best New Stories from the Caribbean, and the landmark publication by renowned publisher, editor, writer, and broadcaster Margaret Bushby, New Daughters of Africa, an update to Bushby's original groundbreaking publication, Daughters of Africa. She has been published in Ada, Interviewing the Caribbean, MOCO, Caribbean Arts and Letters, BIM, Arts for the 21st Century, PUI, The Caribbean Writer, Columbia Review, and PEN America, among others. It can safely be said that both in her multi-genre writing and in her literary activism, Ms. Hillhouse participates in all spheres of literary life, and in Antigua and Barbuda holds a lot of the literary culture on her shoulders. Ms. Joanne C. Hillhouse is the 2023 Anthony N. Sapka Awards laureate in Arts and Letters. Dr. Adesh Sirjusingh. Many doctors in Trinidad and Tobago leave behind the often frustrating public health system for the safer, more controlled, and financially rewarding world of private practice as soon as they have built a solid reputation. Dr. Adesh Sirjusingh is the exception. He went into the public system in 1990, saw the problems, and stayed to solve them and transform the system, making sea-level improvements in infant and maternal survival rates. Dr. Sirjusingh is a highly accomplished obstetrician and gynecologist. He has delivered thousands of babies in Trinidad and Tobago and the UK, and has a host of grateful patients, thankful for the care they received from him, and indeed for saving their lives. As an administrator, he is noted for the originality of his achievements, particularly in the sphere of public health system management. A major regional accomplishment has been his contribution as the Trinidad and Tobago lead on the Pan American Health Organization and Ministry of Health initiative to implement the PAHO Perinatal Information System, SIP, which has been successfully adapted to the local needs and is currently in use. He is responsible for vastly improved systems for the management of pregnant women, including high-risk cases and newborn children. This includes the reduction of the maternal and neonatal mortality rates to the targets set by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and for 4 consecutive years, despite the COVID-19 pandemic disruption to the healthcare system, way before the target date. One of his greatest achievements so far has been the complete overhaul of women's obstetric and reproductive health, both in public and private sectors. He's currently the Director of Women's Health at the Ministry of Health, the first to be appointed to that position in 2017, and which has seen many notable achievements since then. His in-depth knowledge gained from the years working in the public system has allowed him to identify the needs that have to be addressed and to devise creative ways and documented guidelines to solve problems that include failure of supervision and communication, lack of staff, and failing infrastructure. His career pathway took him to the humblest of hospitals in Trinidad and Tobago, the smallest and the least resourced Sangre Grande General Hospital in northeastern Trinidad. It was probably destined to be, as it was here his maternal grandmother had become a maternal mortality statistic many years ago, shortly after childbirth. With this knowledge and drive, as medical chief of staff, he used administrative and technical skills, and within a few years was able to turn it into a thriving, modern training hospital that offers quality care to patients. Through his efforts to upgrade the systems, train and bring in new staff, the hospital was able to offer for the first time a full team of specialist-led maternity care to women 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including full-time anesthetic coverage in case of emergency surgery. This led to a significant improvement in the health outcomes for mothers and newborn infants. At 55, Dr. Sirjusingh has been a mentor and inspiration to generations of doctors, teaching both undergraduate and postgraduate medical students in the field. He has also published many academic texts and research papers in medical literature, as well as numerous public education pamphlets and frequently asked questions which are available on the Ministry of Health's website. Apart from his major contributions to the health and well-being of mothers and babies, and his astonishing accomplishments in the area of public health and policy making, his push for public education and training of doctors, he makes time to hold free clinics. Dr. Adesh Sirjusingh is the 2023 Anthony N. Sapga Awards laureate in public and civic contributions. And our last laureate, Dr. Mahendra Persaud, is a leading figure in the region's food security because of his groundbreaking work in rice production. He has developed several high-yield, disease-resistant strains of rice that emerge excellently under flooded conditions, with superior grain qualities that are well-suited to global markets. He's also leading the development of new varieties and is now at the forefront of efforts toward regional food security. His journey in rice breeding and development began in 1997 when he was appointed research assistant at the Guyana Rice Development Board, GRDB. In 2006, after completing his PhD studies, he was appointed plant breeder at the Rice Research Station at Burma, Makoni. And in 2008, he was appointed chief scientist there. He retains both positions and is the country's leading plant breeder, credited with transforming the fortunes of Guyana's rice farmers by developing new varieties and ensuring Guyana a place on the competitive international rice market. As a chief scientist, Dr. Persaud oversees the operation of the entire Rice Research Station with critical support from a team of research scientists, research assistants, technicians, and laborers. Under his leadership, rice yields have gone from a national average of 4 tons per hectare to 6 tons per hectare. One variety, GRDB16, developed in 2020, even produces as much as 9 tons per hectare. The GRDB has released 16 varieties of rice thus far, and Dr. Persaud and his team have developed 13 of those. Though not a top global rice producer, Guyana's yield of rice per hectare is comparable to the top producer, China, which averages 6.5 tons per hectare, and higher than the second highest producer, India, which yielded 2.7 tons per hectare in 2021. Given its high production, Guyana is able to export 75% of the rice it produces. In 2021, 42 countries were supplied with rice from Guyana, including CARICOM, Latin America, the European Union, and North America. A consequence of the Russia-Ukraine conflict is a crippling effect on world wheat supplies. And the mandate given by the government of Guyana, Dr. Persaud's team is also currently beginning research into the cultivation of wheat in Guyana. If successful, this will be a major change in the amount of money spent on food imports in the region and its food security. In support of this process and the development of new varieties, Guyana's first national rice gene bank was commissioned at the station in October 2022. This bank, a vital component of Guyana's and the Caribbean's food security, is the result of Dr. Persaud's initiative and pioneering work of 16 years. Dr. Persaud also works with the CARICOM Biofortification Network and shares his knowledge throughout the region. He contributes to regional food security initiatives, like beginning to grow wheat in the region, which would bring another staple within the control of regional producers and out of the hands of importers. Apart from his field work, which is of economic, scientific, and humanitarian importance to the region, he's also a highly respected academic who has published widely in his field. In 2016, he received the 4th highest Guyanese National Award in the Order of Service, the Golden Arrow of Achievement, for outstanding research as a scientist in the rice industry, resulting in high-yielding varieties with consequential increased rice production. Our 2023 laureate in science and technology is Dr. Mahendra Persaud. More detailed bios are available on our website, answercaribbeanawards.com. Ladies and gentlemen, our laureates in each category will receive 500,000 TT dollars, a medal, and a citation. They will receive their awards at a ceremony to be held in Trinidad on June 3rd, 2023. Our College of Laureates continues to grow. And these additions, and with these additions, we now have 57 laureates. Marvelous. The additional 3 laureates will bring the total prize money awarded since inception to 25 million TT dollars. No applause for that? I mean to say. We are in our 18th program year since the inauguration of these awards. Dr. Anthony Sabga, after whom they were named, had a vision and a belief that we in the Caribbean can grow our own talent for our own sustainability, and therefore we should recognize among us exceptional ability. While we issue a public call for nominations, we do depend in large measure on our country nominating committees in Barbuda, Guyana, Jamaica, the OECS territory, and Trinidad and Tobago to seek out the exceptional Caribbean people worthy of these awards, and they do so remarkably well, as you see from today's results. So, after all of this, do you have any questions for us? I'm sure Professor Bourne will be willing to answer any of your questions. Members of the media? Okay. Allow me to take this opportunity to let you know that nominations for the 2024 awards are still open and will close on April 15th, 2023. Visit our website, answercaribbeanawards.com, read the criteria for nominations, view the bios of previous laureates and those we have presented to you today, and nominate someone in any of the 4 categories whose work needs to be recognized. Just a gentle reminder, these awards are for persons between the ages of 35 and 55 years at the time of nomination. Members of the media, invited guests, and our streaming audience, thank you for your presence this morning. I close by extending warmest congratulations to our laureates, Ms. Joanne C. Hillhouse of Antigua and Barbuda, Dr. Adesh Sirjusingh of Trinidad and Tobago, and Dr. Mahendra Persaud of Guyana. They truly need to be celebrated, so let's do so. Thank you very much. And good. Thank you. Please, we do have some refreshments. Please take